Good morning. This is Wednesday, April 22nd, and we are going to start a series today called Easy Lettering. You may need lettering for like helping your grandkids with a poster for school, or maybe you're making a big banner for church. Anyway, I'm going to show you some ways in which you can learn a lettering system, and it can be all different ways as far as with the same system, just by making the lines differently. But before we start, there was a request that I show you the books that we used yesterday and last week as far as for this entangling. So I'm going to show you those as far as, can you see that book? Okay, so this is we used 3 books. This one. And the last one we used was this one. All right, we're gonna get started. Okay, so we call this a 3x5 lettering system because it basically works on 3 columns across. So to make 3 columns across, you have to have 4 lines and then 5 down. Now, with this grid, you can make pretty much any lettering. So we're going to start out, just to show you the versatility, with doing an S. All right, so it has to do with straights, diagonals, and curves. So for an S, you would take this square and you would just make a curve on all 4 corners. So here's 3 columns by 5. Okay, and the S is made by making a straight across this way and a straight across this way. And then I'm going to use a Sharpie just to show you. Then you just follow the lines. Oh, I forgot a couple curves. A curve this way and a curve this way. And you follow the lines around and you make your letter. So what I want to show you, just to give an introduction, is so that you guys can see the different things that you could do with this S or with this lettering system. So you have a regular 3x5 letter, but say you want to do one that is shorter. You can make your lines shorter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this way could be wider. And then when you do your letters, you do the same thing. You're doing a curve and a curve and a half and a half. And so using that same system, you could have a letter that looks totally different, but you've used your same idea. So you could make an S, and as far as if you're making words, you can make it smaller just by changing the grid. We're gonna do one more. All right, so you could do like a tall, skinny S. So you can make your letters be really tall and skinny by, again, just making your grid different. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we're going to curve, curve, half, half, and then follow your lines around. And you can see your S. Now, you can also do words inside a shape, but for right now, we're just going to do one letter inside a shape. So if you had a shape, you can divide that by 3, divide it by 5, and you can make this same letter around inside the shape. Now, I don't know if Superman used this method to make his cape, but he could have. So depending on whatever shape and whatever grid, you have totally different kinds of letters. All right, so that gives you an idea of where we're going to go with this. So when you start out, you're going to start out and make your grid any size that you want. So you just take your ruler, and I'm going to start out by doing 3/4 inch across. And you can make whatever size letters you want. I'm going to go down and do 3/4 inch again. And I'm going to mark at the top and the bottom because it's really hard for me to get a straight line. So then you take your pencil and put it on a dot and go line it up all the way up and down, all the way across. So you do that all the way across. Then you would turn your paper and you would do the same thing at the top of your paper. You would figure out your dots and then do them at the bottom of your paper and do the same thing so that you end up having a grid that looks something like this. All right, so you can do any size that you want to. We're going to start off by the really easy letters that just are on the grid, the ones that so you can kind of get an idea with it. So we don't even have to really use our ruler because we already have our grid. So we're going to start off with like an E, goes across, down, and it's just all on the grid. So F would be the same way. Start off with easy ones that are just on the grid, and then we're going to go to ones that have curves. A T would be right on the line. Oh, and you can use a ruler. An I. All right, I'm going to turn the grid this direction so we can use these. We're going to do an H. And an L. So you can see how these letters are just directly on the grid. All right, so then our next set that we're going to do is going to be where we use some curves. All right, so you can make letters that are just like we did with the S. We're going to curve a corner. Curve a corner. We're going to count down 5, and then we're going to follow along the lines. And you can see your C. All right, on our D, we're gonna just curve these two corners. And everything else is on the line. G is very much like a C. Curve all four corners like this. The difference is you go down, count down 2, and you make a horizontal line. And then the next one, you make a horizontal line on either side. So when you curve around, you have your G. Okay, I'm going to turn it sideways. All right, this is going to be a P. We're going to curve, curve, and then an R would be just like a P. We're going to curve, curve, give you a little taste for things to come. So these are the curves. So we've got a P, but the difference is we do some slants. So we go and we connect to this dot, and from this dot to this dot. All right, so over the next couple of days, I'm going to show you the entire alphabet. So we have, right now we have C, D, G, and P and R. So we've got vertical lines, horizontal, curves, and diagonals. And with those different types of lines, we can be able to make the entire alphabet. Okay, hope that's a little bit interesting to you, and we will do some more tomorrow. Everybody have a great Wednesday, and don't forget to wash your hands. Bye-bye.